Pre-lockdown, more people will be heading back to work, bringing about fear of more infections. Economic cluster ministers plead for hygiene and safety to be prioritized. They say each employee must be given at least 2 face masks. Workers should not be made to pay for protective gear. Companies should have COVID-19 regulations compliance officers in collaboration with unions. Employment and Labour Minister Thulas Nxesi says workers who become exposed to the coronavirus should be quarantined and be given 14 days paid sick leave.
Every employer has a responsibility to provide protective clothing. Every employer, including the employers of the domestic workers. So, which therefore says the issue of the sanitizers, all that protective equipment which might be needed, the masks, it's a must even for the domestic workers and gardeners.
Mining houses are called to test workers without fear of closure. Minerals Resources Minister Gwede Mantashe says the primary objective of testing is to detect the extent of the problem in the industry. He says so far 4,600 tests were conducted amongst miners and 384 tested positive for COVID-19.
Mine workers must be tested. The extent of the problem must not be hidden so that we can confront it.
The crisis has also presented an opportunity to South African companies. Trade, Industry and Competition Minister Ibrahim Patel says local companies are now supplying protective equipment to other countries on the continent.
We've already begun to supply and export PPE to neighboring countries and to the rest of the continent. With the global shortage of personal protective equipment, many countries on the continent look to South Africa to assist in making kit available to fight the virus. And it's important that we do so because as neighbors, it's only when we can ensure that the infection does not spread across the region that South Africans are safe.
There are also rotten apples amongst those that are doing good. Competition Commissioner Tembinkosi Bonakele says since the lockdown, 1,500 cases of price inflation have been recorded. He says some have been referred to the Competition Tribunal and about 13 million rand worth of fines have been levelled.
Ever since the lockdown started, we've had more than 1,500 cases. This is just the Competition Commission. Of course, our counterparts in the National Consumer Commission also have their numbers. Out of these cases, we've already prosecuted and leveled fines of about 13 million.
The local economy is battling energy constraints, ratings downgrades and the effects of COVID-19. With the gradual reopening of the economy, demand for fuel has increased sharply. This has led to the rationing of diesel supplies until demand can be met. Sefako Musi, SABC News, Johannesburg.